Hi Aries, it's Romy Wyser here. Thank you so much for coming and checking me out on my new YouTube channel. If you are Aries Sun, Rising or Moon, then this intuitive reading for the month of September 2019 may resonate for you. I am so pleased that you've decided to come check me out, whether you've been following me on other social media or you're brand new to my channel and to hearing my intuitive insights, then thank you so much. If you do enjoy the reading, please do drop a comment, like and share the video, and be sure to subscribe to my channel so that you can get future updates. I'm going to be bringing you monthly readings for your star sign, and if you enjoy, you can go ahead and purchase the extended reading where we take the conversation and the narrative to a little bit of a deeper insight, and you'll also receive a worksheet which will be an accompanying guide to the reading that I've delivered, picking out some of the key themes, giving you some areas to consider for your own spiritual growth, some affirmations and recommendations. So thank you so much. I'm going to go ahead and flip the camera so you can see the cards whilst I do this reading. So thanks so much for being here, and look forward to getting started and seeing what comes out for you in September, Aries. Hi Aries, okay, let's get started for your September reading. Okay, so where to begin? We open up with the Seven of Cups. We're still in this reflective period, weighing up choices. I can't help feeling that we are starting the month feeling slightly overwhelmed. We've just hit this Virgo new moon in your 6th house, Aries, okay? So it's asking you to pay closer attention to your health, your well-being, and to try and get some sense of structure in your life. But it's almost like we don't even know where to begin with that. You know, August still felt like a little bit of a hangover from that eclipse season, and the dust has somewhat settled, but we're now still weighing up our options. And you might be finding that there feels like a disconnect perhaps in terms of what our desires are, what the vision we have for where we think we should be at this point, and what reality is serving us. But I don't want you to feel despondent about this. I want you to look at it from a place that actually having the freedom to still weigh up these options or think about how you want to move forward this month is actually quite a strong place to start. And you know, we've energetically now moved forward with Jupiter direct from August, and this is in your 9th house, right? So it's really helping you to expand and consider what the bigger picture looks like now. So I quite like that we're opening up the reading with this sense of choices being presented to you. And yeah, I think we want to begin by saying don't feel overwhelmed by these choices. See why they're coming up for you. What is it you need to know? Maybe it's about not rushing in too quickly. You know, that 6th house is about a methodical approach, right? 7's very spiritual number, so it's almost about the spiritual path too here. So 6 of Pentacles. Where are we looking at energy exchange? Where is there some kind of imbalance, right? This is maybe where we're finding this sense of confusion, or we're trying to figure out what it is that we need to do to bring more balance into our lives, right? That's exactly what that new moon energy at the start of the month is asking of you, and in Virgo all the way through till we move into Libra on the 23rd. So how do you need to redirect your energy? it does feel like I've got outside help or support coming in, but for some reason there's also like a sense of confusion to this, right? So perhaps you feel slightly unsure of it, or something isn't clear about it. You might be looking at where something feels unfair or unjust. It's interesting because as we move further into September, Aries, you have the full moon in Pisces on the 14th in your 12th house, right? Closures, endings. And you also have Venus moving into Libra the same day. And when we move into Libra, it's hitting your 7th house of partnerships. So, we might be looking at a situation for some of you where there is closure or endings around relationships, marriage even, and there's discussions about the impact that's going to have on finances, how things are going to get split up. You might be looking at the decisions and choices that need to be made around those partnerships. This could even be in a business as well. You might be considering the splitting or the way forward in a business. Okay. Six of Swords. You're definitely moving away from something this month, Aries. It feels like we are, even though we sort of have that slightly uncertain energy of the 7, these 6s are feeling more stable for me. So you do know, what you have to do here, and I think you know where you want to move forward. The positive that we have coming in September for us all is that Saturn's actually moving direct on September 18th. For you, Aries, that's in your 10th house. So career, reputation, where are your goals and ambitions? And it may be that you've gone through this real period of reassessment through that eclipse season in the summer. You're still weighing things up as we open up the month, but it does feel that you are going to come to some firm conclusions about where you need to move for your own progression, right? It's likely that as Saturn's been retrograde, you may have had some real tough lessons and challenges around where you have where you're overstretching yourself, where you've given too much, where you've not felt empowered, where you've felt this disconnect between the reality and the fantasy side of things. Maybe the work that you put in wasn't being reflected in terms of recognition. So there's been a lot of soul searching around how you want to be perceived, what your new vision looks like in terms of that purpose, that career, and even with regards to partnerships, right? Because with Libra in the 7th for you, it's about how do you want to show up in that dynamic? How do you want to be respected? What is the balance going on there? It's also this desire, I feel, either for physical travel or symbolically to just move away, move forward. With Jupiter and Sag in your 9th house looking at travel, and then this 6 of Swords coming in, it really feels like you're ready for something different. But where's the delay, or where are you holding yourself back? We feel in limbo with a situation right now, but there does feel to be a really important spiritual sacrifice that's going on just now. It's almost like in order to move forward, in order to gain a better balance, you have to, there's something that we need to let go of. And it's almost like surrender to, something that we need to surrender in this situation. It may be that you still feel in a real sense of limbo in terms of a connection. There could be some emotional distance going on here, some confusion in the relationship, and just nothing's moving, nothing's progressing. And that could be a little bit frustrating and almost cause you to be in this energy of craving or wanting more. Let's take a look. Very Neptunian influences with both the 7 and the Hanged Man here. And, you know, we have this full moon in Pisces, and it's kind of an uncomfortable energy for you, Aries, right? All that Piscean deep water. But there's reason that you have to kind of go to those depths, maybe to reconcile something about the way in which you're showing up in these relationship dynamics. How much you, self-worth, you know, self-respect. Okay, a lot of inner reflection going on here. You know, all of the figures in very passive kind of stances here. So it feels as well with this that there is a little bit of a sense of dissatisfaction about this situation. Maybe it's not moving as quickly as you would like it to. But understand, Aries, that there is a very spiritual influence about the timing of this. There's something important about it not moving too quickly. There's something about wanting to get the right foundations in place, first of all. This for me also signifies a sense of, if you feel, particularly around careers, right, because we're moving direct with Saturn in your 10th, so if you are currently in a situation where you are feeling stuck and I want to say almost a little disillusioned with where things are, this is the time to really properly reassess and to consider what's brought you to this point. There's a lot of growth and understanding to come through in the journey that's brought you to this point, and not coming at it from a place of judgment, but looking within yourself to say, how have I changed? What do I need to do differently in order to bring in something that feels more aligned with where I see myself moving forward? If this is about where we are in a relationship situation, and it certainly feels like there's some kind of delay or confusion around this, you may be feeling like some uncertainty around what this other person is thinking or feeling, and there may be some frustration or some slowness around where that's taking you. Remember though, you don't need to feel disempowered in this situation. It's also an opportunity for you, Aries, to consider your true feelings. You know, with this Libran energy in your 7th, it's really important to reconsider like the type of energies that you want to have in your life, what they bring to the table as much as what you bring to the table. And you might find that some of those values through that eclipse season that was really pushing us in how we now choose to meet our emotional needs, you might find that some of those values have changed. So, you know, the guides are just saying this is a really optimum time for you to think about your own emotional, physical, mental, spiritual needs, right? Virgo in the 6th for you, and to weigh things up before you decide to make a further commitment, right? Okay, 2 of Cups. So once we get past this impasse, so to speak, we are looking to bring in more closeness, a sense of unity. There's a coming together that's preparing itself, I think, through this journey. It certainly feels like there is a particular individual that, whether it be in work or career or in terms of relationships, that you are currently going through some sort of challenge or transformation and evolution to that partnership so that it can be balanced up. And that may mean for some a complete ending or closure, moving away. Or it may represent coming back in together on a new level, having to sacrifice or let go of something in order for a new way to engage with one another. Okay, so I'm definitely really feeling this sense for some of you that, you know, that full moon in the 12th and the Libra in your 7th is really going to be signaling the end of a relationship or a long-term commitment. And for those that have maybe experienced those challenges in relationships, it, you know, there's a lot of I guess there's sadness connected to the ending of that, but there's also this liberating energy that feels like it's coming through, offering the opportunity to open yourself up to new connections coming in. The sense of completion, I mean, that's really, you know, there's a lot of healing energy coming through with all these sevens in the reading for you. And, you know, when you're dealing with the 12th house stuff, right, it can be quite heavy. Okay, so messages coming in. And it feels like you are much more engaged and listening intuitively to where you're being guided this month. And even though there's some kind of heavy influences and energy that's coming through in this reading, but it still feels like you are trusting yourself, trusting the way forward. For me, this is also allowing the closure and the endings and the sacrificing of something to allow something new to come in. You know, the Page of Cups is coming in and offering you the opportunity to look at things through new eyes. There's a thoughtful energy coming through with this for me, but it also might be talking specifically about a water sign. You might be dealing with a Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio energy right now. Might even be some sense of, you know, a little bit of betrayal or feeling let down by somebody or in a real limbo situation. But it feels like the time out or the distance has been really important for you and much needed. And it's an opportunity for you to really focus inwardly again and make sure that you're aligning your own energies, right? That 6th house is all about, how do I look after myself? How am I nourishing myself? What are the daily rituals that I have in place in order to, you know, protect my own energy? And I do feel like there's a sense of putting new boundaries in place following what you've been through in this situation, Aries, right? So that you have really learned where you have found yourself in situations where you haven't been properly acknowledged, or you're not coming up on a kind of equal term, right? Equal basis. It does feel as well for those of you that might be looking for work or considering like changes of work, even though there may have been delays around something, I feel like we do have new opportunities presenting themselves, particularly towards the end of the month, right? And I want to say to you that it feels necessary to transform your way of thinking about how people perceive you. This feels important, Aries, right? Because the guides are showing me almost you rising up into like a new version of yourself, right? This is allowing yourself to kind of move out of this kind of hanged man energy, accept the closure and the ending so you can kind of have your own rebirth, so to speak. And even though the page comes in and sort of almost feels slightly naive in their energy, and childlike with it, there's also like a renewed sense of optimism and hope, even though you've been through this somewhat challenging, confusing journey. So, just going to pull you some oracle cards, Aries. Sadness. Okay. Yeah, it definitely feels like, there's been some kind of situation that's either just gone on or is set to unfold through this month, where, there is some loss involved. There's some inner conflict about what you've had to let go of or what's ended. But I don't know, I just, this beautiful kind of palette of colour that's just sat at her side is reminding you about, I guess, the choices and the palette and all the vibrancy that can now be painted on a fresh new canvas. So sadness is a really important emotion to acknowledge and to move through this month. And it is important to feel it, and maybe this is why you are being kind of held in this vortex of energy. But there's also this beautiful kind of symbolism of moving forward away from that period of sadness, away from that kind of ending into something that feels much brighter and much more optimistic. Earth Spirit, find your joy. Okay, I kind of feel that actually with, with some of the energies that have come through in your reading, Aries, there is this need to kind of ground yourself. With the Seven of Cups and the Hanged Man coming in, it does feel like almost there's a need to just move into that kind of very physical, grounded energy. And again, with the 6th house sort of influences for you through Virgo season, it's really asking you to reconnect with nature, to reconnect with yourself. And it's in those, I guess at times, what feel like slightly mundane tasks or activities that you can just allow yourself to kind of catch up with all of the processing that takes place, particularly when you're dealing with 12th house stuff, right, with that full moon this month. So reconnect to be able to find that spiritual center, and allow yourself to be in that energy and to process what's going on so that you can move through it and actually find your equilibrium again, right? So as we move into that Libra energy, it is all about finding the balance, and it feels very much for you that this is what September is showing you, how you need to find the balance in the connections and in the relationships in your life at this point in time. Okay, so look at the bigger picture. Full moon in Sagittarius. I really like this actually, just as a nod to Jupiter and Sagittarius in your 9th house, right? Which is all about that expansion, all about your changes in philosophy, how you are taking on new learnings, the way that you want to move forward on your journey, whether that be physically traveling or just that inner soul journey that you'll be taking right now. And a reminder that even when you go through these periods where you feel stuck or that things are not moving, or that when things come to an end, there can almost be this sadness of like a broken vision or a broken dream, that actually it's like one chapter in a much bigger story, right? And so the guides are just reminding you that this part of the journey is coming to its full fruition, but then we begin again. So Aries, we continue this reading with the extended recording if you would like to join me, and we're just going to go more in depth with the cards to see how this narrative plays out for you through September. So I'm just going to pull a couple of cards just now so we can see what's going on here. So clarifying the Seven of Cups, Judgment. Knight of Wands. Okay, so we might be coming in as yourself there as the fire sign, or you might also be dealing with an Aries, Sagittarius or Leo energy here. Okay, so more confusing energy being clarified here. Okay, so more sixes. Real strong connection here, possibly somebody from the past. A lot of nostalgia happening there as well with that moon energy. Magician, okay. So that's Libra coming in there with the Queen of Swords this month, okay. Eight of Coins. How is this going to apply to work and career? Let's clarify the Hanged Man here. Temperance. Not a huge amount of major arcanas in this reading today, so Five of Cups, okay, so more linked to this sense of emotional loss or upset or disappointment over something, but it's temporary, Aries. Six of Coins again, interesting. Okay, expanding your horizon, ready for new adventures. Gaining control back in your life, sense of security, and of course the Emperor connects into Aries as well, so you're moving into your own personal power there too. Two of Swords, interesting. Okay, so maybe still having to make a choice around a connection. Yeah, just this real sense of exhaustion coming through with that Ten of Wands, Nine of Wands. Definitely walking away, leaving something, Aries. Oh. Yeah, some heartache there. A lot of emotional communication coming. Perhaps you're dealing with an air sign here, Gemini, Aquarius or Libra. Still some conflict, and I sense some kind of real, like you're hitting an emotional wall with somebody as well. But this brand new beginning's coming in. Okay, so let's clarify this oracle here. Okay, so when we're talking about the sixth house, it's like, how are you feeling about your body? How are you feeling about your personal power? How is your sacral chakra right now? You know, this seat of your creativity, your own sexual energy. Feels like we're ready to kind of have a bit of a rebirth in this area. Full Moon in Aquarius, show the world the real you. I love this, okay. It just feels this entire journey is about you having a rebirth through the situation, whether it be work, whether it be relationship, and actually being able to fully realize your own true value and worth, and kind of stepping out from a situation that hasn't allowed you to shine. Nourish the sacred feminine. Yeah, I feel like it's about gaining the balance, right? It's about bringing in that divine feminine energy. and perhaps, you know, the need within this period of Virgo to be able to connect. So Aries, we're going to go into this in a lot more detail in the extended reading, just to see how this story changes with the clarifying cards. And I'd love you to join me. Not only do you receive your extended reading, you will also receive a one-page worksheet from me that's just going to pick out the key themes from the reading today and just note down some self-discovery questions and affirmations for you, just to help you move through this month of September. So thanks so much for joining me and for checking out my channel. I appreciate you.